Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching my channel. My name is Denise. I am co-founder of Freedom Angels. If you could please like and subscribe this channel. My days on social media are pretty much numbered. I'm banned off everything. I am going to let you know how to get a hold of me, and it's in the description of this video. The best way to reach all of my channels and information, including links that are banned on social media, is by joining my Telegram channel. It is Denise_freedom_angels. I know my days are pretty much numbered on YouTube as well, but for right now, I'm going to utilize all the tools that I have available to me. And once I do get banned completely, once you're on my Telegram channel, you'll be able to reach me personally. So again, you are able to reach Tara and I at www.freedom-angels.org. It is time to organize. A lot of people are, getting kind of nervous at what's going on with the mandates happening across the nation. And I'm going to let you guys know on some bills that you should probably be familiar with. I put this information on my social media, but for those who do not have Facebook or Instagram, I'm going to go through the bills that you should probably read to educate yourself on the subject. I know a lot of adults, teachers, healthcare professionals, frontline workers all think that they are not going to be forced into being vaccinated, and that is not correct. And it all started in California. It all started under the guise of public health. What the media did and what the legislature did was label us anti-science and anti-vaxxers in order to get people scared of the information that we are providing and to, gaslight us, really. So I'm going to get into that in just a moment, but I do want to let you guys know Freedom Angels will be in Washington, D.C., the 4th or the 5th and 6th to speak at the Health Freedom Rally. This is going to start from 12 to 4. It includes people like Lee Dundas, who is a human rights attorney, Joey Gilbert, who is a constitutional attorney, and he's working with Freedom Angels and many different people in Northern California against the lockdowns and helping small businesses. We also have Kevin Jenkins, who is co-founder of the Urban Global Health Alliance, where he is working within the Black and Latino community to wake them up on what's happening with the program. Also, Roger Stone, Angela Stratton King, and Freedom Angels will be speaking on the agenda happening in California and what is going on with the pharma cartel. Now, I know a lot of people were wondering and seeing memes all across social media saying that hotels are canceling, and the mayor of DC has actually tried to demand that stores, grocery stores, hotels, gas stations all close, and that is not happening. However, hotels are canceling reservations. I had a hotel and they had canceled on me, stating that it was a security risk. So that's out the door. If you wish to donate to Freedom Angels to, get our work done and to do all the things that we do, you can Venmo, PayPal, or CashApp, and that is all in the description of the video. So what's happening across the nation? For those who think mandates aren't coming, let me blow your mind for a minute. Now in California, we had SB 277, which was really the groundwork, the framework to start the mandates rolling out across the nation, because how California goes, so goes all of the states across the nation. So SB 277 was introduced in 2015. This bill, again, was under the guise of public health. It was stated that children needed to be vaccinated or have a doctor's note stating that they were exempt from vaccines. And this all happened thanks to Disneyland. Once that happened, once that rolled out, activists were looking at the language of the bill, and not a lot of people understand what it meant. In 2015, it originated with having a bill that was move out of state or vaccinate. That was it. There was no amendments. There was nothing there that we were able to work with. So activists around California got together and demanded that there be exemptions, medical exemptions, and children on IEPs to be exempt from getting a vaccine and be exempt from a medical exemption. And this bill also affected homeschoolers. So Now we have these amendments in place where homeschoolers, children with IEPs were exempt, as well as a robust medical exemption system. So then that passed, unfortunately. So then we saw in 2019, we were waiting for the attack. We were saying, okay, I know that this is going to happen. I know they're going to roll out more mandates. When is it going to happen? 2019 hit, where SB 276 and SB 714 as a trailer bill were introduced. Now, what this did, media, representatives, even representatives like Robert Rivas, who is in the Bay Area, he admitted he never even read the bill, and he still voted on it. This bill, it was labeled anti-vaccine, but what it really was closing up the loopholes, the amendments that were in SB 277. So it put us in a database, tracked and traced us. It criminalized writing exemptions. So it put doctors on a database, it red flagged them, and it made them go into to have a hearing to see if they really were writing fake exemptions or not. During this time, Lorena Gonzalez made a public statement that her nephew has a medical exemption, so he gets a fruition of SB 277 having this medical exemption and being exempt. I wonder if he still kept his, because I know that many children did not get to keep theirs. She made a public statement that there were no fraudulent exemptions found yet. So what this bill did was trying to get ahead of the game. There has never been a medical exemption to be found to be fraudulent. So it put us in a database, it criminalized it for doctors, it put our doctors in a database. It also put our children's medical records in the hands of public health bureaucrats. So if a teacher or a nurse sees this medical exemption and they think that it's fraudulent, they can send it over to public health, and the public health will be the one to decide if your children actually do deserve that exemption. They also changed the way the exemptions were written, so that they narrowed the scope and they put it to where if a child had anaphylactic shock, had coma, encephalitis, they were only exempt from that one vaccine. They still had to get the entire program. Now, one of the amendments that we did have in 277, which we can still utilize today, that was weird, sorry, my computer went weird, that we still utilize today is that there is number 11 amendment in SB 277. That is on the second paragraph, so you have to pull up the bill to read it. And it says that any other vaccines that are put on the schedule after 2015, a parent can put a philosophical exemption on file. That exemption, a personal exemption, that exemption can be given to the school, and you are now exempt from the flu shot, HPV, and the COVID vaccine. And that is coming on the schedule. ACIP has already approved it. So for emergency use, right now the COVID vaccine is only available for 16 and up, but ACIP did approve it for emergency use authorization to be put on the childhood schedule. So this is going to roll out. This isn't a conspiracy theory anymore. This is, a conspiracy, but it's no longer theory. It's facts. You can go to the ACIP website and look at this. So the framework is already here. It laid it out in California, and now we're seeing it in New York and New Jersey. So what's happening here? Bill A416 has now been introduced in the state of New York. This bill is allowing local government, I'm sorry, hold on, let me back up. In California in 2019, Bill AB 262 came into play. This bill allowed your local public health officer to deal with outbreaks however they feel is necessary. So outbreaks are 3 or more. Once they have streamlined the state public health from doing these, now they streamlined it to local public health. So now local public health officer can come into your home and remove you if they feel that you're a public health threat. They can quarantine you to where you can either choose to get the vaccine, or you could be locked up until you're no longer deemed a public health threat. We had no support with the Republicans in California. We knew where this was coming. We knew that this was going to be more so of vaccines than anything else. And they said, it's not about vaccines, I can guarantee you. Well, It's here, it's rolled out. California, you should look at Ventura County, made a public statement stating that if you have one bathroom and you have a person who's infected, then they can remove that infected person and take them into another housing facility. So it's happening, and now it's happening in New York. Bill A416 is a bill to round up anti-maskers, public health threats, and put them in a camp. This is the language of the bill. I encourage you to go online, DuckDuckGo, A416, New York. The only way that a person will be released from this housing camp is if the governor lifts the orders. This is the framework. This is what's going on. Now, do we have any more time to wait by the sidelines? Absolutely not. It's go time, guys. This is the end of the road. How California goes, how New York goes, so does the entire nation. So if you are in a state that has philosophical or religious exemptions, you should look at your coming up legislation, because I can guarantee you they're going to come and they're going to try to remove the religious and philosophical exemptions and only put a medical exemption in place. And if that's the case, then you have to start organizing quickly. There's nothing good that comes out of medical exemptions. We learned that in California. All it does is, again, put you in a database and put your doctors in a database. And now we have no doctors who are able to write an exemption. In the state of California, there are no functional exemptions left. Your only option is to move or to homeschool. And Senator Richard Pan in California has already stated that he's going to come after homeschoolers. So now we have the framework in these states, these Democratic ran states, that are already laying out the bills to mandate COVID vaccine to participate in society. So all these things that you're seeing with the mask, no travel, no shopping in stores, no participation in society, that's going to be the same thing for the vaccine program. Remember, this is an experimental biologic. It is not FDA approved. There are no long-term studies. At the end, we are the study. So now we have Biden's team. So Biden has already called for Fauci to be his chief of staff for the medical part of his campaign. They have both stated that they will encourage mandatory vaccines in order to go to school and to travel. And this is not just to get on a plane. This is to travel outside of your borders of your state. Once it hits on a federal level, there really isn't very many places to go. I encourage you guys to get a strategy plan. Start looking at people you can, get land with. Go buy a piece of land yourself. Homeschool your children. The way to dismantle the system is to start from the inside out, and that is the public school system. Pull your kids out of school. Stop giving your school or the school money for your children. Every year, the school gets 11 grand per child in California. Pull them. There is no reason for your child to be on distance learning. There is no reason for you to be in-person learning anymore, because let me tell you, in California and Washington now. So Washington, D.C. has introduced, and the Democrats have passed the legislation to allow 11-year-olds to make medical decisions for themselves. In the state of California, we have the same thing. It is AB 499, where it allows 12-year-olds to make medical decisions for themselves. How the hell do 12-year-olds know their family history? They don't. So they can now consent to vaccines, abortions, and contraceptives. And they can do this at school, because now Planned Parenthood is now on school campuses. And the legislation that was passed in DC has verbiage in there that says insurance companies are required to hide a vaccination again from the parent. So even if you call your insurance company and say, did my child get a vaccine? They're not able to tell you. In the state of California, 12-year-olds have privacy rights now. So if you are a parent, you cannot go into the doctor's office with your child at 12. That's what they say. But I would encourage you guys to find a doctor or a chiropractor that does not push this issue. You should never, ever, ever leave your children alone with anybody. And so now we have legislation. We can't see your children's medical records. They have access to abortions, vaccines, and contraceptives, because now Planned Parenthood is on school campuses. And we're now stuck to where if we send our children to school, they're unsafe, because even if you sign you're declining vaccines or your child has a medical exemption, they can still vaccinate your child because it is called implied consent. Something you guys need to look into, DuckDuckGo it. Implied consent means you send your child to school. That means that you are giving them consent to do this. It's the same thing when you go to doctor's offices or hospitals, especially pregnant women. You go and you sign the registration form. First of all, never sign the electronic. Look at your paperwork, and you have to document no biologics, no biogenics without consent, because once you sign the paperwork, you're signing consent to treatment they feel is necessary as life-saving. And they think vaccines are life-saving treatment. So they will vaccinate you. We've seen many, many times people who were in surgeries got the flu vaccine after they went under. So we're looking at federal legislation coming up if Biden does take seat to mandate vaccines to participate in society. So now you need to have an exit strategy on what kind of money, how you're going to make money, how you're going to teach your children, and how you're going to grow food. This is where we're at. So what Freedom Angels is doing, we are now training you on how to be on the ground. We have many different campaigns and many different hats that we're wearing. The first one, we are traveling across the states, across California, across neighboring states, anywhere we can drive, to train you on how to organize against legislation that's being introduced, how to organize against your public health officer, because they are the target. Public health is doing the dirty work for the governors. So if you look at all of these closures, it's because of public health. They are utilizing the strong arm of licensing agencies to come in and harass business owners. So we have an organized campaign against them. We also train you in something called Mom Militia. So we have many different members across the nation who are being trained in self-defense and offense, firearm safety, how to grow your own food, how to replace pharmaceuticals with herbs and homeopathic medication. It is all across the board, because there is nobody's going to come save us. And after the election doesn't mean anything. Yes, the election is important, but the most important thing is your local government, because what we're seeing is the new world order being released on the public. And the only way that it's going to stop is to start within your local government. Board of Supervisors, City Council, your mayor, your district attorney, your sheriff, and your county council. These are all very key people in targeting, saying, what are you going to do about this, about these mandates? What are you going to do about these closures? You guys have the power to do something. And that's something that we train you on as well. So we got a lot of things happening, and I'm really, really excited to go out to Washington. Health freedom now is a global issue. It's no longer just an issue of, crazy mothers, or how the Wall Street Journal labeled us moms in yoga pants. It is a real issue happening with lack of informed consent, mandates, taking your children into these indoctrination camps, better known as public school, teaching them the different agendas that are coming out, but also wanting them to get vaccinated. In California, Gavin Newsom all of a sudden changed his tone, stating that he wants children back in school in February, while now here comes the vaccine vans, and they happen. You should check with your school district, because there are clinic vans that come to the schools and vaccinate your children. This is all what we've been talking about in health freedom. So I would really want you guys to do your due diligence. Look at the bills. Again, SB 276, SB 277, SB 714, SB 792, which was a bill in California during SB 277, which mandated teachers and volunteers in school to be vaccinated. Look at AB 262 as well. So if you're a healthcare provider and you are a medical professional and you are being mandated into taking an experimental drug, just know that you are not legally, they cannot make you take an experimental biologic. It has to be FDA approved in order to fire you, because you are an at-will employer. But you can still file complaints with your EEOC. You can file a complaint with HHS, the new religious department. there are recourses that you can do, but just know that they're going to push the agenda. They're going to start mandating. This is what they've been wanting to do forever, and it started in 2015. So I would appreciate you guys, again, subscribe to the channel, share the information. I am completely wiped out on social media. The best way to do that is to also get on my Telegram channel. I am TheInformedMama 209. But if you cannot find my channel, you can message me directly at Denise_freedom_angels. Now, we are going to DC. So, again, our hotel has canceled us. So if you are going to DC, I would suggest that you get a backup. You have security plans with the people that you're going with, have a meetup spot, have a channel where everybody can talk and figure out where there's food. That's what they're doing. They're going to try to close the grocery stores, close the gas stations where we can't get food and water. So I hope to see you guys in Washington. I am very excited. And again, if you would like to donate for Freedom Angels to be there and to not be stuck in a position to where we have to get another Airbnb, all of our information is listed in the description of this video. Thank you very much. And we will be live. I will be live during the Washington thing, all of it on this channel. I will also share the information on Telegram. So thank you guys very much for listening. Thank you, Missy. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate your guys' subscriptions and your shares.